Howdy, howdy, and welcome to Moose Podcast 333. 333. That's a lot of weeks. And you guys, most of you have been there the whole time. Thank you ever so much. I am really grateful to your support. Some good emails this week. Thank you, Richard, for your email. I appreciate your taking the time, the kind words, and yes, I appreciate you struggling along with my getting tongue tied at times and asking for clarification. My apologies. That does happen. I kind of get excited here at the microphone with some of the stuff and I just get ahead of myself. So I appreciate you reaching out, Richard. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for dropping by. I also appreciate and am very grateful for my good friend at Bedford's Camera, bedfords.com. They are the sponsor for the Moose Podcast, and that's just one of the ways in which they reach out to help us photographers with our passion way beyond just selling us gear. They've got, right now, if you are into getting that Nikon Z8512, that big bad boy, Bedford's there to help you pre-order and get that thing as soon as possible because they are the masters at getting that gear. They have a huge inventory. They have great service. They're going to get to you quickly. They're going to answer your questions. And they're to help you in the way you learn and do better at photography. They've got the Lightroom class coming up here at the end of the month. They've got moi next month doing the aviation class. You can follow the links there at the blog post. I mean, these guys, they ooze photography and enthusiasm, and they're marvelous to work with. I had a great time talking with some folks this past week, all giving me their love stories for Bedford, all they have done to help their photography. They're there for you. So, great service, great price, home of the Moose discount, sponsor for the Moose Podcast, Bedford's Camera. Thank you so much. I want to talk briefly about and answer a couple of questions I had about last week. People noticed from my blog and Instagram that I was in Florida on the Gulf Coast side, and they'd wondered what were the residual effects from the hurricane. I got to tell you, yeah, you can see some damage to our world, the stuff that humans have built. But when it comes to Mother Nature, yeah, that environment, it's amazing. It is meant to deal with that kind of ferocity from wind and rain and waves. So how did the plants go? Hey, hey Joe, maybe we should grow some roots so when the hurricane comes in 20 years, we can. I mean, how do they get there? That stuff boggles my mind. Anyway, Estero Lagoon, it has changed, but it has changed so many times over the decades I've gone there from storms that's just part of its charm. North Beach, East Beach, Surfers Point, all those they got birds. I had no problem finding birds to photograph. Had lots. We pegged the fun meter a number of times. Easy. Venice Rookery. I'm surprised it's still alive. It's not supposed to. Rookeries just don't last that long, and it's there. It's going. It's going. It was fun, entertaining, and great shooting. Corkscrew Swamp. Sharon and I were really involved back in the 80s and 90s to keep that place going what you see today, and it's just thriving. It was marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. So yeah, other than the humidity and the no-see-ums, I just love Florida. It was killer. So yeah, the hurricane went through there, but did it do damage only to the stuff that was built there and wasn't meant to be there. Otherwise, yeah, it's go, go, go. All right. Hope that answers the questions. That's all I wrote down. Something tells me I'm missing something. Well, anyway, you'll email me, won't you? Okay. Let's get right into this week's topic, the moving parts. Photography's got a ton of moving parts. It has inordinate a number of moving parts. And I am always surprised, I am always shocked how photographers tend not to give them the TLC and attention they really, really need. In fact, Most of the time, it's not till things fart and go wrong that you go, "Oh yeah, maybe I should have, prevented that." Yeah, well, hey, there's a lot. There is a ton. Let's talk about a simple moving part that isn't looking like it's moving. And I got to tell you, up until a year ago, I kind of took it for granted, never thought about it till it bit me. And then my good friend Eric said, "Hey, Dodo, wrong one." And that is the cable, the simple cable that you connect between your computer and your hard drives. There are two types of cables. Yeah, USB-C, USB-C is not all the same. First of all, they got stupid names like USB-C, right? That's a whole nother ball game and problem for Moose. Anyway, power cables, like the one you would plug in from your block to your Mac, is a different kind of cable than the one you plug in from your Mac to your hard drive. If you use a power cable, you're going to find that like uploading images or moving images from your computer to the external drive can get really slow, as in like hours. I was last year and just dying up there in Alaska doing bears, killing my battery. And then my good friend Eric says, what's with the cable? I've always carried extra cables because they break and you have to replace them. But after all those years, I just never realized that USB-C had, data cables. And I changed the cables and wow, the speed came back. It was flying. It's a moving part. It's one that's kind of important. That speed. How many people have been looking at their ingest going, wow, this is slow? It could be just that you got the wrong cable. So, moving part, important. How about sand and camera gear and all the moving parts? Thought about this a lot this past week down in Florida. I'm laying on the sand, as in laying on the sand, prone position, belly getting wet, neck getting a kink in it, down there with those little peeps having a great time. But then you have to worry about sand. When you get down, you can't use your hands because you can't take wet, sand-covered hands and touch camera gear. It ain't gonna work so well. And you can't use your hands to get back up. And when you get up, you've got all that wet sand on your clothes, and the wind is blowing the wrong way. It's gonna nail your camera gear. And it just takes one itty piece of sand in that focusing mechanism, and you hear that. Okay? Really important. Couple things to think about with sand. First, if you do get any sand in any part of your camera, stop right there. If you've got it's like in the focusing collar, focusing ring, put a piece of gaffer's tape on there so it won't spin. Get it into Nikon, get that thing cleaned out. If you get it other places, you've gotta be really careful with extracting it. Now that new nitro blower that I posted a couple weeks ago, that thing works killer for getting sand out of places it shouldn't be. What if you have sand like stuck in the felt of your long lens in the lens shade? Those dog roller tape brushes, I don't know the real name for them. I need to do a blog post about that actually. Those things you use to get dog hair off, they're sticky. I have that with me. It gets all the sand out of the felt that's inside your lens shade. Um, it's just really important to get rid of that sand. And here's the first thing to extract sand: it needs to be dry before you do it. If it's wet, it's going to stick. It just got that little bit of membrane from the moisture. It's going to stick like glue. So you want to make sure you get it dry first. And that's a really important thing with moving parts. No sand. Okay. Um, let's see here. Um, what else? This has surprised me forever. People spend a lot of money on tripod heads. A lot of money. Let's take, for example, one of my favorite heads. I have two. Back in the day, it was the really right stuff BH55, and now it's the Plataball. Both of them have a big metal unit that's been machined to a very fine tolerance with a very big ball, again, again, machined to a very fine tolerance, inserted into that socket. And that ball inside that socket, rotating and spinning smoothly, is what makes those expensive heads really work great. And it just takes one grain of anything in there, and you scratch up that surface, and now that beautiful, smooth, rolling ball head that you treasure and spend so much money on is toast. And even with that knowledge, the number of people I see going around with no head covers, and I'm not talking about a beanie for your scalp, I'm talking about for your ball head, folks. The number of people don't have a head cover boggles my mind. How about gimbal heads? Gimbals have a really, really, really tight tolerance swinging joint on the post, and then another one that's attached to the tripod collar. Those two moving parts, again, anything gets in there, and you've lost all that smoothness that you paid all the money for. Get a bloody head cover, folks. I mean, and put it on your heads. It's so simple. It protects those thousands of dollars of investment and gives you that performance that you need in your photography. How about another important moving part? The tripod collar on your long lenses. So there's two kinds. There is one that you can literally unscrew, and it's a collar that breaks in half and then your lens comes out. And then there are those that are permanently attached to have the foot on them. Those moving collars, again, yes, sand can be an issue, but a lot of photographers, and I mean a lot, seem to think that their hand is just as a perfect platform for putting that foot as their tripod head. It's not the case. You're trying to balance a pencil in your palm while you're shooting. Either A, if you have model A, take that tripod collar off and save yourself all those ounces, or B, okay, simply take that collar and rotate it 180 degrees and remove it completely from your palm. That's right, rotate it straight up. So the foot would be up in the air. You can use it as a handle. And then you have all that round, curved lens barrel resting in your hand, giving you a much bigger platform, a more stable platform to handhold that simple moving part that you can work on. How about another important moving part that I love to remind people about? And that's the shutter release. Yeah, baby, that button that we push that gets that fun meter cranking along. I am so surprised how many people stab at it like they're trying to pick up some glitter from a counter or kill an ant. They just gosh, stop it, stop it. And what do you think happens to your photograph when you're doing stabbing that shutter release button? It's a moving part. It's a stage button, two stage. You lightly depress it, it activates the camera. Depress it fully, it fires the camera. You need to teach yourself to roll your finger on that shutter release. I see it continually, nonstop. This horrible habit of stabbing that thing rather than rolling your finger. It's a moving part. And when you stab it, that part of the camera where your shutter release is goes down just a small tad, a half a millimeter. That's enough, though, for your photograph not to be tack sharp. It's real simple moving part that you can make, work for you. Roll your finger. Do I have more moving parts? I have a whole bunch more. I'm going to get into the last couple ones I think they're really probably the most important. First, it's us, our fingers, our elbows, our shoulders, our hips, our knees. Hey, let's be serious, folks. Especially as you get older, those parts don't work as well. I see, and it pains me to no end. I see people who have worked their lives, they have done everything right financially, they have got themselves in a secure place in life. They're semi-retired, retired, and then they go out to shoot, and they just are physically uncomfortable. They can't. No one told us. At least if they did, we don't remember when we were kids and we're playing all those sports and doing all those crazy things that kids do, in that process of growing up, that when we got older, we were gonna pay the price, sometimes kind of, severely. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. You feel it just as much as I do. You gotta take care of yourself, folks. You gotta take care of all those joints, and there are many different possible, issues and many possible solutions, but to me, there is nothing really any sadder than when someone has put all that time into life and then they go out to enjoy photography and then they can't fulfill it. They can't keep going. Um, it's you gotta take care of all those moving joints. You got to. And I know where I speak from. I thought I was gonna have the knee replacement surgery. Well, that was a scary proposition. That not the actual surgery, but the being laid up, having to actually stop what I love doing for any period of time. So I got active, and I got past it, at least for now. So all those joints, those are moving parts, folks. Give yourself some love. I know I'm right there with you, but hey, you don't want to have this incredible passion for photography and then all of a sudden stuck because you can't do this, that, or the other physically. Okay. And then probably the most important moving part that we have as photographers that does not get enough exercise, does not get enough love, does not get enough attention. And maybe some of you know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it: your mind. Your mind, especially as you get older. Now, study after study after study has been showing that the being stuck on social media is not helping the mind. It is not helping creativity. And it seems to be ignored. And the same studies are showing that one very simple task makes a huge difference, especially as you get older. It actually brings out that wisdom that life has blessed us with for surviving so long, and that wisdom nourishes imagination, passion, and creativity. And that's reading a book or a magazine and not reading it on a device. The studies are out there. You can Google it. There you go. Have to go to social kind of Google to find the answer. But boy, one of the most important moving parts that's between our ears can be nourished, can be uh, reborn, can be uh, literally enlarged by simply reading. And all of these things combined and so much more can help our photography. All these moving parts are part of who we are as a person. And the more they're lubricated and protected and kept clean and exercised, just the better our photography will be. And I think that's the goal for all of us. Some people don't want to say it out loud, but you know, every day we go out, if we can be a little bit better, we gives us hope that next year we're going to be a whole lot better, and the year after that, immensely better, and in time, way better. So, some ideas how to get out there and make all those moving parts just a little bit better. You folks have a great week. Thanks very much for stopping by, And remember to make every click your story.